Welcome back, all you Regs and all you Shinies. Welcome to the most mediocre podcast in the Star Wars universe, the 1313 Podcast. Hello, I'm Tommy.
I'm Jackson. And I'm Jacob again. So, there's going to probably be a clip in this video really quick because Jacob said he wanted to record a part explaining why he hasn't been on the show. It's nothing serious. It's not like we booted him off. Like, we want him here.
Jacob's contract got terminated with the podcast. He's no longer allowed on the podcast. That's really what it is. We're just trying to keep it, low-key behind closed doors. Yeah.
That sounded so dumb.
But, yeah, Jacob's gone. For now.
For really this week, he should probably be back next week. Unless his condition continues, then you'll see him back on the show. We'll have the whole trio back because we miss him in it.
Everybody hit Jacob with a get well soon because...
Facts.
He's been pretty sick recently.
He's been going through it.
I talked to him last night, and he didn't sound good. So
no, he doesn't.
But yeah, so for audio listeners, you will not see the clip of Jacob where he gives his little apology. Yeah. He insisted on it. I told him he didn't have to do that, but he insisted because he wants you guys to know that he's not ditching on the podcast.
Facts.
This is his first year in college.
Yep.
So he's working really, really hard, and he's trying to adjust to the time management skills of college because it's very different than high school.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And by the time this goes up on Monday, that Monday is the week of our midterms. So we're kind of...
This next week is going to be tough. This next week is tough. I have 2 exams back-to-back on Tuesday. Like, I go to one class and take an exam, and I go straight to my next class and take another midterm.
I have 2 projects in the same class because our teacher says, I don't care, here you go.
Yeah, no fun. I'm good.
And then we have to give a presentation for the project.
Good lord. The one thing I will say is a lot of my classes this year, instead of a final exam, they're doing like a final project. Which I prefer that because, first of all, I suck at multiple choice.
Yep.
But I have a strong preference for projects because it's a better way for me to apply what I've learned and show my work ethic. It's not, oh man, I didn't remember this minute fact from this one day in class.
Mm-hmm. No, for real. I took a test in one of my classes. It was the one that I was texting you about that I was going to walk out on if the Walmart con ended up happening with a figure. But frickin'... The test that he gave us, it was literally, it was multiple choice. And then he gave us information on the study guide, and the frickin' stuff on the test was like the smallest of minute details. But I ended up getting a 97, so bless up.
Hey, that's good, dude. That's good.
I was like, turn me up, bro, when I got that, because my other friends got like B's and whatever.
I can never achieve anything better than an 85 on multiple choice tests. Mm-hmm. But if you give me any sort of thing where I have to write and give original thought,
Facts.
I always do well on that
Facts.
stuff.
Sorry to all of our listeners who are no longer currently in school and don't have to deal with these problems.
Honestly, good for you because, I mean, I'm in my 3rd year of college, you're in your second year, and it is not always the most fun.
No.
But you got to do it, and it's good work ethic and stuff, so... Let's get into some podcast stuff. This is a Star Wars podcast, right?
Yes, not a Let's Complain About Our College Lives podcast.
So first and foremost, I just want to plug the Discord once again.
Yes.
We made a Discord last week, a little over a week ago now. And we already have I think 10 or 12 members in the Discord now.
I'm pretty sure.
We've had some really fun conversations, and there's always something going on in the Discord, so...
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I do apologize if you tried to use the link last week and it didn't work. I have never used Discord in my life. I've always meant to. It's something I never got around to. So when I posted the original join link, it didn't work. So it should be in our link tree right now. If you have issues getting onto the Discord, please comment on literally any one of our posts and tell us, and we can help you get in. Because that was my fault, and so I want to make sure everybody who wants to get in can get in. It's been a lot of fun, though, just because there's so much Star Wars discussion that just happens,
The other thing I think is cool is pretty much everybody in the Discord has some sort of hobby that has to do with Star Wars. We have people who are figure photographers. We have other Black Series collectors. We have people who are in the 501st. You know, so everybody has some sort of background with Star Wars, and it makes it really, really fun to interact with all those people.
Exactly, because that was our goal too, was to create a fandom of all Star Wars fans. You know, not just from like one specific genre, because we love all aspects of it.
Yep. But yeah, so join the Discord. It is in our link tree, which can be found on any of our social media. If you search 1313_podcast, I always plug that username in the description of every podcast. So if you're listening on audio, you'll be able to search it up that way. But yeah, we have it in our link tree. Please join, and it's a lot of fun to discuss with you guys. So
yes.
If also you have any guest suggestions, you'll notice that we didn't have a chat episode this last week.
We did the collection.
Well, you know, part of it was that we did the collection, and the other part of it was that weekend Jacob and Jackson were gone.
Yeah.
So it was really just me, and I didn't want to do another Have a Chat episode by myself. So if you have anybody who you would like to be a guest on the podcast, anybody you would like to see us try to get on the podcast, we have a channel open in the Discord for that. And then for you audio listeners, I also have a question open on Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify, you can answer that and just kind of give a guest suggestion. So feel free to drop those in. If there's anybody that we see, we'll check them out that we haven't heard of, and we'll kind of look into that and see if they want to be on the podcast. We have a good list of guests lined up going forward. I'm not going to give away who they are just yet, but we have different creators from different platforms that do different things with Star Wars.
Not just Twitter.
Not just Twitter. Not just YouTube. But yeah.
Yeah, no, from all different backgrounds. So we're really excited. And these are pretty cool people, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty cool people too, but
not everybody thinks that.
I think I'm cool, and that's all I care about. If you don't think I'm cool, if you don't like the 1313 podcast, I don't care. Neither does Jackson, and neither does Jacob.
Every single person... I bumped the table, I'm sorry. Every single person I know at my college is like, yeah, it's the podcast guy.
That's my, what's the beginning of college classes? Tell me one fun fact about yourself. That's easy. Yeah, I do a podcast. You know, one of my professors watched a couple episodes of our podcast. Yeah.
Turn it up.
Turn it up! So anyway, there's not much Star Wars news this week to get into.
Not really, to be honest. I mean, we have HasCon, but we can talk about that at the end of this.
In our Black Series segment.
Yes.
Which we always save for the end. Because we know that most of our fan base likes the Black Series. So for those who don't, we talk about the other stuff first. Yes. That way you can still have something to enjoy. So we did, there are 4 new Star Wars books coming out, it looks like. That's exciting. I'm really behind on my Star Wars reading.
I am too.
I still have to finish Thrawn Treason. I'm in the middle of that.
I'm only 2 books into Thrawn, and then at this rate, to be completely honest, I don't expect to read a lot of the other Star Wars books with my current schedule.
Exactly.
Because, sorry to complain about the college life again, like we were talking about earlier, but my schedule is literally so jam-packed with doing work, going to work, like,
all the
doing
time.
Other stuff.
All the time.
But it's like, one of my buddies was talking about how, like, he's able to, like, read, like, every single day, or just, like, make time for it. So, like, I'm still, like, fighting my schedule so I can make time to read. Because I enjoy reading. But it's like there's also professional books that I would like to read as well, besides what I would consider to be a fun book, like Star Wars and other stuff. So, as soon as you find balance in life, everything is easy.
I agree. But yeah, so we've got some cool Star Wars books. I still have to read. I want to read the High Republic. I want to read the rest of the Thrawn books, because now there's 6 of them.
I forgot to mention, I think, on the show, but I was at a local comic book store, and they have High Republic manga now. Oh. So I got one of those because I was like, this is a quick read in a format that I enjoy, and I was like, I'll be able to get knowledge about the High Republic.
Star Wars anime?
It's almost
Cringe.
like they created that.
Shout out Visions.
Yes.
Amazing Star Wars content. I was going to watch Visions this morning, but I was eating my breakfast. And then instead I decided to watch the heist episode from season 1 of Mando.
Nice.
So I watched probably the first 10 minutes of that. And then I was like, oh, look at the time. I got to get about my day.
Yeah, no. I rewatched Lo Pinocho during.
Well, I wonder why Jackson was watching the Bunny Girl
so
episode.
So good. It's literally
Go figure. Jackson's watching the Bunny Girl episode.
It's so good, dude.
I wish Jacob was here to clown on you right now.
I know. I wish he was too.
Don't you be eyeing that Lothcat right now. Don't you be eyeing that Lothcat right now. Please don't.
Jackson, I can't believe that you would be watching the Bunny Girl episode again. Maybe we should get back on topic so then our audio listeners and our video listeners don't think that we're talking in circles.
All right, everybody, this has been the 1313 podcast. I'm Tommy, this is Jackson.
No, not over.
Speak as the Lothcat again and see what happens. I will leave right now.
You were the one that was okay with me putting it up here.
I was okay with you putting it there. I was not okay with you being Jacob with it. Alright. 1313 cringe cast. 1313 cringe cast. Anyways, let's get into these books. Let's talk some Star Wars, baby.
Yes.
Woohoo! I bumped the table. Alright. First one is, honestly, this is the one I'm the most excited for, is Shadow of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shadow of the Sith takes place right after Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and this storyline was hinted at in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the storyline of Luke and Lando. They are chasing Ochi of Bastoon, is his name, the dude with the really ugly face from Episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
They're chasing him. And they're looking for that Sith Wayfinder. And they also are trying to save a young family in the midst of this. And that young family is actually going to be Rey and her biological parents. So that is, honestly, that's a storyline that I have wanted to see. Mm-hmm. So I really hope that I make some time to read this book. Out of the 4 that we have here, this is the one that I would want to read the most.
Yeah. Is it really cool we're getting that gap in the story? Yes, it was definitely necessary. Is it like, that's in book form? In my opinion, maybe not really actually as much as I thought it would be just because it's like, I could not see a lot of people probably hopping on a story about the sequels at the moment in video form or something.
I agree.
But at the same time, it's really good that we're getting that gap in the story, you know?
Yeah.
So then we'll be able to understand that better. I feel like that will be really, really cool.
It's one of the biggest, I guess, plot holes of The Rise of Skywalker that they really just gloss over.
Yeah,
is that Rey's father is a clone of Palpatine.
Yes.
And we don't know anything about Rey's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I read Resistance Reborn, and that book does a really good job of going in and explaining things that are confusing about the sequel trilogy. Mm-hmm. So I think that this book will probably do the same thing, and we'll get some really good insight on these new characters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I'm super excited for that one. Like I said, out of the 4, that's the one that I want to read the most.
Yeah, no. I don't totally agree because I kind of like a lot of the other ones.
The next one on there? Yeah, the next one, do you want to talk about that one at all?
You can talk about it a little bit because you know more about it.
So the next one is called Brotherhood. And this one is about the situation between Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
This one. Yeah.
About Obi and Annie on Cato Nemoidia. You'll notice in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan, when they're on Coruscant, after the opening sequence, Obi-Wan says, "Not like that business on Cato Nemoidia. That doesn't count."
Yeah, so that'll be really interesting to get that one-liner, really.
And it's interesting because I thought that in the Clone Wars Season 7, the first episode of that arc, the Mandalore arc, I thought they were on Cato Nemoidia. But that's a different planet entirely.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember that planet. They literally pulled a Revenge of the Sith where they're, Han Solo was all like, "Oh, I met a dude on frickin' Ord Mantell, a bounty hunter on Ord Mantell." So much crap in my throat, I apologize. When he's like, "I met a bounty hunter on Ord Mantell," and then we see Ord Mantell, and then we see it in the Bad Batch. You know?
The Bad Batch?
Which I think is cool. They're kind of like literally taking parts where characters will throw away one line and be like, boom, this is an entire story. Which I think is really
I like that about Star Wars, though, because Star Wars is so expansive that you can just do that.
Exactly.
Again, I always thought it was weird that in the Siege of Mandalore arc, that beginning sequence, that totally could have been Cato Nemoidia, the way Anakin swoops in and saves Obi-Wan.
No, I totally agree, and I see what you're saying, for sure.
But then again, like, it's a different story for a different time, and now is the time where we'll get the Cato Nemoidia story.
Exactly.
So, I'm excited. The next one is... It's called Stories of Jedi and Sith, and all I know about it from the research that I did, I didn't do very extensive research on these, but I do know that it's an anthology book, which probably means that each, like, chapter or each, like, part of the book are going to be completely unrelated to one another, and it's going to probably jump around the timeline a whole bunch. I'm expecting High Republic era stories.
That very well could be it. I feel like we're going to get Luke Skywalker in some form or another. Because then, my theory with this...
Darth Plagueis.
Not necessarily that, but the fact how, what was it? Lucasfilm came out, remember, it's like the Book of Sith and the Book of Jedi, and then there's like the Bounty Hunter book and an Imperial Handbook. Those came out way before Disney purchased it, because I remember you could get the Book of Sith and like this deluxe holocron that I wanted for freaking ever, but my dad was like, no. Because it's expensive, which I don't freaking blame him. So, that could be a canon version of bits and pieces of those stories, because I specifically have the Sith book because I got it at Disney long time ago, and like in it it's like different stories of the Sith, so it is like that anthology method where each chapter is a different thing, but then Sith who have picked up those texts annotate in the corners.
Oh, they do?
Like
That's
Luke
super
Skywalker
cool. What the heck?
Annotates in the corners of it as well, because he discovers the Sith texts after Return of the Jedi.
That's super cool.
So it was a really interesting take, because it would be like, oh, like this whole section, and Luke would be like, this is a real huge like downfall to the Sith because blah blah.
Dude,
blah,
that's
blah.
dope.
Or like so and so would do this and whatever, which I thought was a really interesting concept. So I'm actually very interested now in kind of seeing what that could be, because if it's Jedi and Sith in one book, fine with that. That's perfectly fine.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, I think anthology books are cool. I know that there was a Clone Wars book that just came out, which was an anthology book. My brother has it. My brother and my father have been reading it together.
Which one was it again?
It's a good question. It's like it's got kicks on the front, and it says like Stories of the Clone Wars or something like that.
I know exactly what you mean. I thought that. No, I was thinking of a different one.
No, it's like an anthology book like that. Every chapter like talks about a different episode or something, you know.
That's actually neat.
Yeah, so there's that one, which I'm like, I'd say I'll wait till the end to rank my want to read all of them.
I'm not gonna rank it. You can do that.
Then the last one is called Padawan, and it's about Obi-Wan as a Padawan. So this will be pre Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I assume that this would also be before the book Master and Apprentice.
That's what I was about to say. Where does it come in on the timeline with Master and Apprentice?
Well, and that's a weird one. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had a theory that this probably couldn't happen, maybe. But what if we see Count Dooku in the book? Because when I was in elementary school, I remember explicitly, I forget what the book was called, and I would rent it out all the time at my elementary school. But it was about Count Dooku, like being in the Jedi Order and then like falling to the Sith, and like with his like how he.
Jedi Lost. Jedi Lost is the canon book of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. Because part of that book is when Dooku is a Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty sick.
It's a long book, though. That's why I personally haven't read it.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I remember the one in elementary school literally being super thick. I never finished it. I would rent it and then, like, read the same couple chapters over and over because I was an elementary school kid with an undeveloped brain.
Smooth brain, Jack.
Smooth brain at the time.
I'd say that this is probably the one I'm least excited for, just because I've already read Master and Apprentice, and there was a really good story arc for Obi-Wan. I understand why this book is coming out, because Kenobi's coming out next year, so it makes sense that they would want to put out more content surrounding Obi-Wan, because of the hype behind Kenobi.
2 Obi-Wan books.
Yeah. So
self-proclaimed Obi-Wan fanatics, never reading the books.
I know the most about Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you haven't read the books, you're not a real Star Wars fan. If you haven't read every page and of every single Dark Horse graphic novel from the era of 1998 to 2003, what are you doing? You're not a real Star Wars fan.
I'm not even going to. Not even
If Galen Merrick is not your favorite Jedi, then you are not a real Star Wars fan.
Stop the Star Killer talk every
Star Killer slander every single week. I will relentlessly slander Star Killer. I don't know why. I have no reason to.
Slander anyone, slander Revan. Revan is arguably the most
people be like
overhyped character in Star Wars.
People literally be like Darth Revan, and I go.
No, because here's my justification with that as well. If you played KOTOR and you like him from that, good for you. You have an excuse, I feel like, to like Revan. I know...
An excuse.
No, I know too many people that literally will only watch the cinematic trailers for The Old Republic and then KOTOR and look at Revan in that and never do anything else. And then Revan is instantly their favorite character and they know nothing about him. Like when I had my Kindle Fire way back when, my parents bought me the Star Wars Revan books, so I would read those a bit, and those were legitimately interesting. I thought Revan's a cool character, but I don't think he deserves the overhype he has right now. Sorry to go off on a little tangent.
Hey bro, I'm on the same page as you, and maybe it's because neither of us played KOTOR.
That's
we're a little bit biased in that sense, but...
Yeah, we never played KOTOR.
But dude, people are like, oh, Darth Revan is the coolest Force user in all of Star Wars. And
I'm just like... How do you know that? How do you know that?
I'm sorry, but your opinion? Invalid. I'm going to gatekeep this right now.
No.
Gatekeeping time. That. Oh, you thought we were an inclusive Star Wars community? Wrong. You just got baited.
No.
You just got baited. We are going to gatekeep Star Wars.
Stop.
If you don't think... If you don't think that the 1978 holiday special is the best Star Wars content to ever bless your eyeballs, you're not a real Star Wars fan. If you don't sit and watch that religiously on every single Tuesday at approximately 3:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then I'm sorry, but you may as well not be a fan.
You're so dumb for that.
If you don't spend copious amounts of money buying extra copies of the holiday special, I'm sorry.
That's not even available.
You're not a real fan. Don't gatekeep Star Wars. Gatekeeping is cringe. If you gatekeep Star Wars and you want to watch this podcast, you better stop gatekeeping because that is cringe. Coming from the kings of cringe, the 1313 cringe cast.
I feel like we have been saying some cringe and I'm not going to cap.
But what we said just now is definitely not cringe.
Do you want to move on?
Don't gatekeep Star Wars. Anyway.
Do we want to move on to the main topic?
No, because I want to rank those books in order of interest from me.
Everybody watching the visual show when Tommy said, "Hey everybody, I'm about to rank the books." Everybody watching? Everybody watching? Here, where's the part where they talk about the main segment?
We skip.
They're doing the 10-second head skips.
But anyway, first I would say lowest to top. Last one, Padawan. Second to last one, the anthology book. Second one is Brotherhood. First is Shadow of the Sith.
That's fair.
And if you don't agree with my list,
it's whatever.
I don't care, but
Doesn't
I would
matter.
like to see your thoughts. I would like to see which one you're excited for.
Which books do you want to read?
Yeah, so let us know.
No.
Let's talk about the weekly topic. All right, guys, so everyone that doesn't like Star Wars action figures, you can just click off the video or the audio.
All right. So I came up with this idea a while ago, and I am going to say this right now. I want other content creators that we know to give thoughts and opinions. You don't need to necessarily comment on the video, but do a video like this. So what we decided to talk about was our top 5 Star Wars Black Series figures in our collections that we have of characters that we absolutely love, but of figures we freaking hate.
Oh, did you just see the seething rage in his eyes when he said that?
Because I feel like that's a good idea, because everybody always does, what's your top 5, your top 10? But it's like, why not do a top amount of figures that you really like, that you have in your collection?
Like characters you like, but the figure sucks.
Yes, characters you like, but the figure is trash. Straight up.
And honestly, what sparked this idea for me, I think, was the backlash on the boss figure.
Yeah,
the Gaming Grades boss figure was because the character's awesome and the figure looks nothing like the character does. In the Clone Wars, it looks like the figure, but the figure is marketed as a Republic Commando figure.
Yeah. But the disclaimer with that as well is that even though we're going to say how we dislike the figure in some sort, we still really like it. We like the character.
All 4 of the 5 on my list, I have the figure in my collection. The 5th one is a pre-order. Yeah,
okay.
So
everyone that I have is a physical one that I have in a bag right next to me, so I'm going to get those out.
I'm just going to say my first one right off the bat. Mine are in no particular order
Same
either.
Here. No particular order.
My first one is Boss. I'm super excited for Boss, but the figure does not look like how he does in the entertainment.
Jeez, fella.
And I don't even have the figure yet.
This morning.
I don't even have the figure yet. But I just am like, I would have much rather them marketed it as a Clone Wars figure because the proportions match the Clone Wars figures, not the bulky look of the Republic Commando. But this conversation has been exhausted. We've already gone over this figure, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right, I'm going to pick the first one out of the bag that I have. My number 1 slot that I have for my top 5 is Captain Cardinal, the Target exclusive.
Oh, cringe? That's a cringe choice.
What do you mean it's a cringe choice?
I love that figure.
No, I like
Okay, let's hear what you don't like about the figure.
The figure is awesome. The red looks amazing. I didn't read the properties that Captain Cardinal is in, so I can't really give a strong opinion on the character.
Was it in the Black Spire book?
Yes. The legs are garbage. Like, literally absolutely trash. Every time I try to stand out, it's like, to give the best visual representation, it's like an anime girl like pointing her like legs inward.
Why
and, like,
would you
going
choose
like
that?
Because that's what it does. Because that's what it does. Your feet are not supposed to go at 45-degree angles, intersecting like you're doing land navigation, dude. It's not supposed to go like this.
Like
your feet go straight forward. Your feet go forward.
Mine
like,
doesn't...
literally, it cannot stand half the time. Woo, I stood it up, but now it's going to fall over in like 10 minutes.
Mine doesn't have that problem. It might just be
Mine
weird.
does. Dude, look at this. Look at this. It's atrocious. Like, I try to get Captain Cardinal to stand all the time, but it won't.
Dude, we were so, like, mild this whole episode. This segment comes up, and Jackson just...
Because I want to like the figure. It's cool, but its legs suck.
So that's Jackson's...
Legs make it or break it for me. Let me tell you.
So that's the first one on your list, right?
Yes, that's the first one on my list. You can move on to yours.
All right, so my...
Oh, look, it fell over because it can't stand. I'm literally not even going to try to make this one stand.
Okay.
Corner shame.
Okay, so my number 2 on my list is... Dude, I just can't. Dude, you got so mad. All right.
Well, that's only the start.
All right, so my number 2 is going to go to General Grievous.
Oh, yeah.
So, General Grievous is one of the coolest characters in the Star Wars prequel era, and he's one of the main antagonists. Mm-hmm. And to this day, the Black Series line has only ever made one General Grievous figure. And
a second coming soon.
I'm sorry, but again, kind of like Jackson said, the legs make it or break it for me on this figure, and the legs suck on this figure. There are so many poses that you could do with General Grievous, but the joints on the legs are just so loose when they should be like ratcheted joints.
Yeah.
Because ratcheted joints would give him more hold. Because his upper half is great. He's got good head and neck articulation. His arms can, when you put them together, like the forearms into two arms, it works really well. He holds his lightsabers okay when he's holding them in forearms, but I don't expect him to hold them great when he's got forearms. When he's got two arms, they hold just fine. But I think that his legs absolutely suck on that figure, and you can't get him to stand. So
no, you can't.
He's always on the back row of my shelf so that he can lean up against the wall.
We have him on the display stands that like hang figures midair, so he's like jumping and like attacking with like a battle droid under him. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I'm not gonna pick it up because it's gonna knock over some of the other stuff in the collection. But if you want to look at the collection, check out the vid we did. Woo!
Oh, collection tour vid on YouTube.
You already know the vibes. All right.
But yes, that's my number 2.
So my number 2 then, this is easiest to grab. I picked this up a while ago. Oh, Not Star, Not Strong. Gun already came out. I have the Luke Skywalker from the Death Trooper escape to also not only complain about this figure, but then the entire old Stormtrooper bodies. What were you thinking when you made these disgusting things? And I'm gonna get heated with it. I'm not gonna lie, because it's got the joints in the sides for the legs and the arms, which is fine. They had to do that to compensate to what they could do now, because the technology's better. This has such a hard time standing still. Like, literally, and I have the stand for it that it comes with, and it's still trash. Like, oh, look at this. Oh, look, I'm trying to stand. Oh, it fell over. Like, I'm trying to get him to stand up straight, and you gotta, like, Michael Jackson this fella forward, bro. He's gotta be like, tee-hee, leaning forward, bro, to even get it to work remotely. Oh, and the comm that he can have in his hand for the Death Star, where he's like, 3PO, where are you? Doesn't even fit in his hand for me. Like, literally, the joint slips right out. And I'm like, I'm not going to put that on my figure and lose it for life, because it can't hold it. Oh, he can't even hold the gun right. Can't even hold the E11. Really? I mean, it's like, come on. If you make a figure with a prop it is meant to hold, make it hold the prop. It's not that. Or even like his Stormtrooper helmet. It goes on okay, but if you try to put it in any of his hand is not designed to hold it. Which, okay, if that wasn't the original intention, that's fine, but I think it's lazy.
Dude,
because you could do that with so many other figures that don't even have holding a helmet in the display, bro. Yeah, hit him with the tee. That makes me so... It makes me so...
And yours is really bow-legged, too.
Yeah. Because what makes me honestly mad is if I get a figure and the only way to make him stand forward is to make him, like, lean, bro. That makes it look so dumb, in my opinion. But overall, I really do like the figure. The detail on it is absolutely amazing. Like, the weathering and stuff.
He is short for a Stormtrooper. Like, if you stand next to your other Stormtroopers...
Oh, wait, really?
He is, like, look how his midsection is, like, kind of squished.
Oh.
He is shorter. Like, his proportions are right.
That's actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the George Lucas one with the actual good Stormtrooper body. Bless up.
Me too. My father made the joke. He's like, why aren't his body proportions realistic to George Lucas?
When people said that about Dave, though, I felt really sad.
I felt so bad for Dave when people were saying that about the Trapper Wolf figure. I was like, dude, that's just mean, bro.
It is. Somebody freaking... It had to be on Crimson Dawn's Instagram when the figure was originally coming out. Somebody said I was scrolling through the comments because it just came out, and at the bottom it said there's one comment hidden, and I clicked on it and it said, dang, why didn't they make it fatter?
Like, that's just mean, bro.
I was like, Crimson hid that, and I was like, bro, I can see why. Like, that's straight up rude.
So is that, you good with that one then?
I'm good with this one. He has such a hard time standing.
So the third one on my list has got to go to Ezra Bridger.
What?
Dude.
Okay, but
the leg design on Ezra Bridger is utterly atrocious.
What do you mean? I'm looking at it right now.
Go get him. Grab him and let me see him. Because I will show you. Oh, this man got me wheezing over here, so now I'm... Alright, bro. So most Black Series figures have, from this era, they have double jointed knees, they have a forward pin rocker for the ankle, and they have the thigh swivel, and then they have some sort of joint up at the hips.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Ezra Bridger. I don't know if it's the way that the little pouches at his hips are. I don't know what's going on. But for some godforsaken reason, like, whenever... Okay, let me just show you. First of all, just trying to get this dude's legs to move is next to impossible. You have to be some sort of electrical engineer to understand how to get this dude's legs to move. I don't understand why they're so complex for no reason. Don't make them complex. Maybe simpler is better. Single jointed knees are not bad. Okay? But dude, Oh, look, I'm trying to stand. I'm literally turning into you now. I'm trying to stand him up. Just standing. Oh, of course I get it on the first try.
Bro, because it's not that hard to stand.
No, but bro, look at trying to get. He can't move his ankles forward at all. How am I supposed to get him in any sort of crouched position when his ankles can't move forward at all?
No, I see what you mean. And my Ezra sits in a awkward pose as well because he's just standing there with his lightsaber.
He looks like he has mine on my shelf. Looks like he has to take a dump. Like that's what mine looks like. He looks like he's constipated and he's leaning up against Chopper because he cannot stand by himself. I feel like that's the theme of my list is that these figures cannot stand.
I feel like that's honestly too what makes or breaks a figure is if it can't stand right on your shelf, then it's trash.
Oh, I spent $20 on this figure, minimum $20. And it doesn't stand. Dude.
Ezra's the figure I feel like in the Rebels collection. Well, I'll get into the Rebels collection.
I wonder why Ezra's the only one on your Rebels shelf that comes with this little black stand instead of just being able to stand on his own. Because guess what? He can't.
Well, we have it for Ahsoka so he can have a dynamic pose.
Well, that's also because Ahsoka can't stand either, but...
Really?
She struggles. She struggles.
I make her stand with the lightsabers behind her back like how she has in the show.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
That's really the only thing you can do.
But yeah, Ezra, I really like Ezra, and he's the main character in Rebels, but he sucks. So that's one of my figs right there.
Dang, okay. Alright. The next figure I have on my list is the Jedi Fallen Order Electro Staff Purge Trooper.
You're such a hater of this figure.
No, I am.
He's literally no different than any other old body
Look at this
clone.
ankle, look at this ankle, look at this ankle, look at this ankle. I'm trying to force it up. And look, now it goes up after I this cannot stand. Its legs, you're not going to be able to see it well, audience, and I apologize. But its legs are too close to... Look at this! Look at the gap between his legs,
You just got skinny thighs, bro.
No, that is literally not...
body shaming the
Look at him.
Trooper.
Look at what I'm trying to stand. Every time I try to stand this figure, it's always falling over or leaning in a weird way. And with the electro stuff, in my opinion...
Oh my god. His ankle is messed up.
Yes, the figure I have is messed up.
Mine doesn't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Then I got a defect.
Well, that's how my Phase 1 clone lieutenant is.
His
left ankle is loose.
It must be...
Oh, it must be defective.
It must be defective.
It must be defective.
I'm making an inside joke for work.
Well, one day, I'll just kind of tell the story,
all right, I
guess. But one day, we were at... So at our job, we all work together.
Yes.
We're salesmen, so we sell products to customers.
Mm-hmm.
But one time, this gentleman walked in the store, and I'm taking a lot of respect calling him a gentleman because he certainly did not act like one.
No.
But he came into the store, and he was telling me he damaged his product. Okay.
Yes.
And he didn't buy a warranty for the product, which was offered to him at multiple points throughout the sales process and the day he came to pick up the product. He's telling me 8 months after he bought the product, mind you, that the product is defective. It's defective because it's damaged and it's defective. And I'm standing my ground with this dude. I'm not being rude. I'm just saying, sir, it's not defective. There's nothing wrong with the product. I'm not saying you damaged the product because that'll make him angrier, but there is no way that he did... The way that it's damaged was done by him. He scratched the product.
Yep, he broke it.
So he does that, and he's just starts cussing me out. People are just mean. There wasn't much else to that story, but yeah, he just started cussing me out, and he just kept saying over and over again, "It's a defect then." And I would go, "No, sir, it's not." And he would go, "Well, does this normally happen?" And I go, "Well, no, sir." And he's like, "Then it's a defect." And he's getting closer to me, and I'm like, "Well, no, sir, it's not a defect."
Yeah.
But anyway, aside from that.
My other thing with the figure as well is I feel like the electro staff is a flop. The
lightning
lightning falls off all the time.
I will agree with you there. The lightning staff,
I only have one
trash.
on right now because the other one is in my bag with the figures because it's not even going to try it.
I stopped trying to pose mine with the lightning on it.
Really?
Yeah, I just took it off because it's not worth it.
It's frustrating because it's a really cool design. It's the airborne clone trooper. So
and they'll never make an airborne clone.
No, I don't feel like they ever will. But it's I wish that it could just be better,
God, that ankle really does limit
Yes. It doesn't want to stand ever when I do it.
I feel like if you get them in a wider stance, they want to stand more. This is a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There you go.
All right. I'll try to work around with that later.
But yeah, so is that yours?
Yep, that's mine.
Number 3, right? So my number 4 is, and I've talked about this before on the podcast, IG-11/IG-88.
Yup.
Let me explain to you, I've never been angry about a figure in my collection before this figure. So I bought IG-11, and I bought him new in box, sealed, never been opened. Take him out the box, I go to bend one of the elbows, the elbow joint just snaps, breaks right off. And I wasn't forcing it. I was literally trying to take it from straight to 45 degrees, and it just snapped on me. Mm-hmm. So then I had a broken figure. Later on, I get an IG-88 archive figure, and I just switch the vests on the figures so that my IG-88 just switches to IG-11, okay? The rubber parts on the elbows have ripped just from the elbows being bent. How come you couldn't just make elbow joints that just bend? How come you had to make that stupid little rubber piece that goes over it? If you look at the vintage collection one, it's literally just the joint. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand why you can't just make the joint. Why did you have to make this extra rubber piece? And second of all, he might as well be a 5-point articulation figure. Because he can't stand, he can't do any sort of dynamic pose. He literally, like, if you bend his elbows, they break. If you bend his knees, the cords on his legs will snap. The ankles get loose after, like, 20 seconds of posing him in any sort of ankle rocking motion. And he's a very stiff figure, and I get it. In universe, IG-88 is very stiff, but that is not the case for IG-11.
Yeah. No, I feel like that is definitely one of the most infuriating figure to have if you love the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I love IG-11. He's one of my favorite characters from season 1.
Yeah, like literally ours is standing straight up and like leaning against something because we're not even going to try. Because we've had consistent same issues. And he's way too light to be able to do any poses because he'll just fall over.
He's trash. He's utter trash.
Like, move. They should have made a thicker figure.
And they won't.
Yeah, and they won't. Because he's too bendy, too. That's the problem. His joints in his limbs are too flexible. So as soon as you put a blaster in it, not only can he already not hold them half the time, but the joint is going to bend down, causing damage to the figure.
So annoying.
I feel like that's one where it was a pure poor design.
Yeah, especially with the rubber elbow joints. I don't understand why they put those little rubber sleeves over the elbow joints. It baffles me. To this day, it doesn't make sense. Because that rubber deteriorates. That's what happened with my IG-88. It deteriorated, so it just ripped. And it shouldn't do that. I had his elbow bound to 45 degrees. Like, anyway, it's just a frustrating figure for me.
All right, I'll get on. I have 2 more. So my number 4, I guess I'll go here first. My number 4 is Commander Gree.
I was going to put him on my list.
Really?
Yep.
So, clone supremacy all the way. I want clones, want them to keep making clones. It's the body that they used for the old clone commanders sucks a lot.
And the 501st Archive is going to be on that body.
For Gree?
Yep.
When are they doing an archive?
The 501st Archive.
Oh, the 501st.
I said it's going to be that
body.
I
know it is the old clone body, which I'm kind of like frick about, but at the end of the day, I'm going to get another 501. But Gree is the most infuriating out of all of them, in my opinion.
He's the most stiff.
He's so incredibly stiff. He cannot move. Like, if I'm moving his joints right now, it's so hard to move it. And not only that, he comes with a binocular accessory that is unusable. It is in that bag that I have my figures in because you have to cram this thing in his figures.
He can't even hold it in one hand, let alone hold them up.
Yeah. How the frick did they do that in the product imaging? That's like what?
Wait, they did it in the product imaging?
Yes, the official product imaging has him holding the binocular up to his face level with one hand and then both hands. I've seen people do it as well.
Let me see. I'm looking at the images right now.
Or even just holding the binoculars.
I mean, he's got it like this, but not up to his eyeballs.
I thought I saw one with one up to his eyeballs.
There might be one where he's holding it up to his eyeballs.
No, he cannot hold the macro binoculars, which this is a figure that is designed to hold at most a blaster in his right hand to shoot and binoculars in his left hand to display.
No, I just looked at all the images and there's not a single one that shows him holding it up because they knew he couldn't do it.
Yeah, because they... Alright, then it was probably fans that I saw that ended up getting it to work. Because that's what sucks. I'll jam those things in his hand for like ever and they'll just pop right out. Like literally, it'll shoot out of his hand because it was not designed to hold it. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, are you serious? Like, it is literally just a lazy design. This has to be my least favorite, too, of all of the clone troopers that we have ever had so far. Again, his legs are too stiff. So when I pose him, I literally pose him standing up with his, like, holding his blaster like this, and then with his macro binoculars like this. Because that's the most exciting his pose is going to get, in my opinion. Unless I really try to make him hold his blaster. Even if you try to do that, it's such a nightmare.
I feel like the only thing that saves Gree is that his design is neat looking.
Oh, his design
if he was a boring design, then it would be even worse.
Oh yeah, it would be even worse. Because they did an amazing job with the paint applications on this. It literally looks amazing. I've always loved Gree because it's the camouflage clone trooper. And his whole division is really cool on Kashyyyk. So I've always been like, this is so awesome. Like, it's a camo clone trooper. Because, like, I enjoy hunting as well. So that's kind of where the bias comes in. But it's infuriating to have a figure that I thought was, well, a character that I thought was so cool. Just have it be like this. I'm like, really? So now I got to take it back to my room and try to figure out how to get him back on my shelf. And it literally is an ordeal. And when you have to put in so much extra work and you get so many frustrations from a figure like this that you're supposed to love, that's where like the hatred quote unquote aspect comes in.
It seems like you've calmed down a little bit since your first couple of figures.
I might go
which
off
is a
on
good
the
thing.
last one. I might go off on the last.
All right, well, I'm going to share my number one, and my number one is, you could just say it's the Jango Fett body, but specifically to my collection, I'm saying the Mandalorian Loyalist and the Mandalorian Super Commando.
What?
From the Walmart wave.
You said that was your number one figure when we did interviews before.
It's one of those figures where I love the figure. Then I handle the figure. And I just get so angry because, dude, he's got to do the splits just to balance because of how heavy the jetpack is.
Yeah, it is
and
heavy.
His legs have to, and then like same issue with Ezra. The ankles don't go forward at all. They can only go back. So how am I supposed to get him in any sort of dynamic pose when he's like that? So I have to lean mine back up against the wall like I do with Grievous because
or
that's
make him
an issue.
hit the tee.
Yeah, but no, because of the backpack.
Yeah.
They fall forward because it's too top heavy. And then on top of that too, the cables on the elbows snap. I pulled out, I remember when I pulled my Mandalorian Super Commando out of the box, I bent the elbow, not even to 90, and the cable snapped. Because, for some reason, I don't know if it's because they're coming from different production facilities, but my Loyalist, the cables are made out of a softer material. The plastic is softer. The plastic is brittle on the Super Commando.
It's probably an error in design and they caught it and they fixed it because my Mandalorian Super Commando is posed going like this and then like this. His arm is at a 45 and I've never had issues with the cables. But I remember that being an initial statement from Yak when they came out saying, don't bend it. Don't try to forcefully bend it or else it will break.
I shouldn't have to be told by other collectors, hey, don't articulate your figure because it'll break. That is not... I'm buying your product. Your product... I get it. It's an action figure. It's not meant to be these figures are made more for display than they are for playing.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, there's certain features on so many figures where I'm you knew this when you designed it, that it was either brittle or too soft and that it would break.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you put it out anyway? It's laziness. It is complete and utter laziness. Yeah. And it makes me so angry. But that was my number one.
Death Watch Mando is that Mando, though. That's what
I was saying the legs might be, but I think that the legs for that figure will be Din Djarin legs. Because if you look at the design of the figure, the design from the waist down at least, I know that the arms are different because the shoulder pads are those big bell shoulders that Mando has. Oh, Mando doesn't have those. Oh. Or maybe it's on his right arm. He has it in season 1. Do you have the original Mando?
Yeah.
Let me see him. Oh, you finna knock it all over. You finna knock it all over.
You better shut up.
You knock it all over.
I literally got it out flawlessly.
Oh.
Shut
all right, so if we're looking at this figure, I think that the thighs at the very least... Okay, so I think that the way the left leg is...
Yeah.
I think that the knee pads will be identical.
Yeah.
With that, like, Jango Fett knee pad. And then I think that the thighs will be identical to this figure.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pretty much make all the lower legs that way. I think that the way that the right arm or the left arm is with that big bell plate, they'll just mirror that to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll make like a new head sculpt, or they'll put like the Boba Fett helmet on it.
Probably.
But yeah, I think that that's probably what they're going to end up doing.
That's fine with me.
But yeah, I hope it's not that Jango body, because that Jango body infuriates me to no end. But yeah, that's my...
I love Jango.
I know, I love Jango too, and that's why it makes me mad. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
So to go to my number one, I feel like this arguably is one of my most favorite figures I have, but it's the most disappointing and most infuriating of everything. Is, I kind of hinted at it too, Rebels Sabine.
Oh!
Sabine is one of my most favorite characters. No, she is my favorite character from Rebels, period. I loved her when the show came out because I was like, holy crap, it's a woman Mandalorian and she's artsy. And I was like, that's so cool. You get the figure, and let me tell you. Hold on. Helmet stays on forever. This is the most atrocious one of the most atrocious of faces I've ever seen. I have the old face model for mine, but we have the new one behind me and in a box over there, and it still doesn't do the figure justice. Well, the character or anything, at least, it looks awful. Bro, she got fish lips. Look at her eyes, bro. They're going in different directions. Like, literally, you couldn't catch that? That is so arguably stupid.
She got fish lips.
She do, bro. Her lips are like... Really, fella? Her lips are very thin in the animated stuff. You don't gotta be doing her dirty like this for no reason. This was before the head sculpt and all that other bullcrap, but you still made good figures. Okay, and then here's what really gets me. Female figures are a make or a break, and here is my explanation. Was because...
Let's hear it.
Okay, because the men figure body, so let's pull up Gree compared to her. Gree is meant to be a very built character, so he has a very solid body frame.
Right.
Sabine is a very slender character. She's not very big or anything as well. So because of that, the figure for her is naturally going to be thinner. That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
What doesn't make sense is that her freaking joints, because of that, are doo-doo garbage, bro. They literally are. Making her stand with all of my other Rebels figures is nothing less than a chore. It really is. Because her legs are so incredible. Like, her legs and the rest of her physique is so, like, thin and slender. And they didn't reinforce it, so you can't pose it correctly half the time.
I do struggle with my Sabine. I do sometimes.
Like, literally, even posing her is a difficulty. I have her kind of like going like this, like with the double crest, almost like a mirror of Rex in a way, which I thought was a cool idea. But still, like, I make her lean against some of the stuff in my collection because she can't stand. Oh, and she comes with the paint gun as well. I wish they would have put maybe like, oh my gosh, I dropped it.
Oh, I see it. I almost got eaten by the carpet monster.
I wish they would have made it somehow that you could clip this to her belt or something like how it is on the show. Because I just end up shoving it in the holster because I don't want to lose it.
I don't pose that with mine, yeah.
Yeah, because it's whatever. And she can't even hold her blasters right. Her hands are way too thin and they're not designed to have the proper grips. Because look at it. Look like right here specifically. Like,
I see what you mean.
This is as good as it is going to get. It'll go right here, and the finger doesn't even fit in the trigger guard for it either. Just posing her all around is an atrocity for me half the time. And that's what makes it so upsetting to me, is because Sabine, again, is my favorite character from Rebels, and I really want to enjoy the figure. But I feel like they just did such a piss-poor job.
That's how I feel about Ezra, man. That's how I feel about Ezra.
I know.
He's one of my favorite characters from Rebels, and his figure sucks.
Oh, and hot take, why did you re-release the entire Rogue One line and put them in all different, like, costumes that they wear, but you couldn't do that with the Rebels line?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like, seriously.
You could have done a repaint on Sabine, because her armor stays the same, it's just different colors.
Yeah, her armor changes color throughout the series. It still has the same designs, but yeah, it's the color swap. You could have made a blind cannon. Because now I'm going to complain about the Rebels line. Why don't we have so many essential characters to the Rebels line created? Why don't we have...
Ezra.
Buzzcut Ezra.
Because again,
Kanan,
he's another one. Ezra's costume stays almost the same. Mm-hmm. He loses the jacket, but that's about it.
I know, for real. I don't know. The Rebels line has...
And then Thrawn with his muscle shirt. Where's Thrawn with the muscle shirt?
Okay, whoa.
Where's Thrawn? I want to see Thrawn with his big bulbous muscles. I'm sorry. I get carried away.
I don't know. No, but again, I love Sabine. I just can't stand her figure at all. It's just not fun.
So I think that about wraps up our top 5 figures of Star Wars characters that we love, that we hate.
So yeah, if you have opinions on this topic as well, what are figures that you own of characters that like you absolutely love, but it just sucks. It really does.
Because Jackson let you know.
I let you know. I let y'all know today.
But yeah, so I think we'll get into our last segment before we talk weekly pickups.
Okay.
The Wax series.
Tons of news, tons of releases. For no reason.
First of all, we had a Amazon exclusive come out on Tuesday.
Yes.
Announced and released the same day.
Yes.
The artillery stormtrooper from The Mandalorian, as seen in the tragedy episode from season 2.
Mm-hmm.
This figure really blew me away. I was nothing but impressed. First of all, I have a preference for the new stormtrooper body over the old stormtrooper body, so that was nice.
Because it poses well.
Accessories wise, I almost felt like he had too many accessories, because like
so many accessories. It could be a deluxe figure,
but he's not.
So
he's just an exclusive.
That shows that Hasbro is justifying deluxe figures to be figures that they have to spend more money on plastic on, like Wrecker and Zeb, because they're bigger.
But what about
figures.
Captain Rex from the Bad Batch? It's just a soft goods poncho.
I will argue, I feel like, till the day that I die, the fact that the reason that Rex is so much more expensive than the others was because he was meant to be that convention's exclusive, and at the convention he was going to be more.
I don't care about that.
I know that doesn't matter, but I will argue on a hill till I die about that's the reason why Rex is more expensive. It isn't because of the poncho, it's because of his exclusiveness at that convention that was supposed to happen.
I suppose.
Because they knew darn well that Rex was going to be the most popular figure, so that's why it's so much more expensive. Which, at the end of the day, if I'm really going to be honest, I'm fine with it. Because this was a convention that we were very, I guess, lucky to have canceled by COVID. Because if the convention was still going on, we wouldn't have a shot at this figure. Like, literally none at all. Because everybody at the convention would have bought up the Rex.
He'd be impossible to get.
No, yeah, he would be impossible to get. He would be, like, everybody on eBay would sell him for $200, probably. If regular Rex is already $100 on the market, he would have been double. You know?
I mean, just the pre-orders were $200 and $300.
Oh, I know, exactly. It would have been absolutely insane to get this because it probably would have had a sticker or something on it saying it was a convention exclusive, and so that would have just, oh my goodness. So that's why I can't really complain at the end of the day about Rex.
So, but back to the artillery stormtrooper though. Like, his accessories are great. He comes with the mortar.
Yes.
And he comes with the mortar shells.
Yeah,
but
3 charges.
He comes with 3 extra. Like, so he can hold 1 in his hand, and then he can hold 3 in his backpack.
I did see that.
And then he also comes with an E11 blaster, which he doesn't even have in the episode. So that's like an extra accessory.
Mm-hmm.
In the episode, he just has the mortar.
Yeah. I'm very much excited. I feel like that is a very, very well done figure.
Yeah.
And I'm excited it comes out next month.
Detail looks great. Everything looks great on him. Everything looks accurate. Pre-order went up. I had no issues. I pre-ordered it, and then I accidentally had the shipping address set for my college instead of my house. So I was able to go pre-order another one, cancel the first pre-order with no trouble at all. It was smooth. There was no buffering. There was no system crash. Everything just went really smoothly. Amazon and GameStop are literally the top two places I think that that Black Series should commit more exclusives to, because they're easy, they're reliable, and
the figures don't sell out in 10 seconds.
And we've
had especially with GameStop, the frickin' Jet Trooper from Battlefront 2 was available for like 2 days, I want to say.
Boss was available for like 2 or 3 days after he went up. I was able to pre-order a Boss because I was having trouble with my debit card. I was able to go back and pre-order Boss 3 days after he came out, and he was just still on the GameStop website available.
And it's not like nobody's buying those figures too. They are very desirable.
Yeah, they're clones.
Boss is still desirable.
He's
and
a clone.
The Battlefront 2 is so desirable because I saw tons of people blowing up on TikTok about like, we're getting a really good Battlefront 2 figure finally, you know?
Yeah, dude. Like, these figures are awesome, and those are retailers that are reliable with them. I've never had a problem with a GameStop exclusive.
Me neither.
Granted, I've never ordered... Well, no, because that Mandalorian Scout Trooper Speeder set was a Amazon exclusive. And I got that through Amazon, and I had no trouble with it at all. Yeah. I was able to pre-order it, no problem. I was able to get it shipped to me, no problem. It came in really good condition.
I took an L not getting that.
Because now, it's not... I've seen it for like $70-$80, which it was $59.99 when it came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't think that it's inflated that much.
It is just a lot, but I'll get it eventually.
Yeah, but it's a really good figure. I 100% would recommend getting it. But yeah, so the Artillery Trooper came out. As far as like reveals go, that was really it. There was that leak about a holiday Wookiee that got... So... The way it happened was the description for the Artillery Stormtrooper was the holiday Wookiee. And I love the holiday figures. I have the complete set of the first wave that they did in 2020. And I am excited to see the other, because it'll probably be 5 again, because the first wave was 5
and they're all
going
to be exclusive to different platforms again. Yeah. So there'll probably be a Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, Hasbro Pulse, regular release, and then another.
I think all of them were exclusives last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Amazon, and then another one. Oh, you're right. Another one. I think it might have been Pulse.
I was mad I didn't get the clone. Because at that time, my card was acting weird. And I would try to buy stuff, so I could only get it from one site. So I got, like, the Range Trooper. And I really wanted the clone.
The Santa Range Trooper?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quick pre-order, it was easy. The Holiday Wookiee. I think that's it for Black Series. HasCon's coming up in 2 weeks.
Do we want to talk about our plan?
Yeah. So 2 weeks from now, we are going to be doing a live stream during the Star Wars portion of the reveals. We're not sure. I've looked for the schedule for when they're going to be doing stuff. I don't think it's been released just yet.
Yeah, they'll release it when it gets closer.
But we'll be able to let you guys know for sure next week. We're going to be streaming during the Black Series reveals, or the Star Wars reveals.
If that's possible.
On our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Which we should be able to.
We might have some guests, we might not.
We're still working out schedules. We just need the times for the convention.
Right. We don't know if it's going to be Friday or Saturday, so that's another thing we have to kind of work out. I'm hoping Friday because I work on Saturday.
Yeah.
And that's going to suck if it happens on Saturday because I won't be able to be present. But I think they did it on Friday last year.
I think they did.
Because I remember it was like...
They did a Cad Bane fiasco.
It was an all-day thing, the stream was.
Yeah.
It was an all-day thing. But yeah, so we're going to do a live stream on YouTube, so you could tune into that. We'll give you more specific details next week on the podcast. But we're super stoked. I've been saving up my money in preparation for this because I know, and I've told myself, if there's any helmets, I'm going to skip out on helmets. If there's any Force FX lightsabers, I'm going to skip out on lightsabers. I'm only going to stick to Black Series figures. But yeah.
Nice.
So
I'm excited for Trapper Wolf, but other than that, I want to see the reveals for the next common wave. That's really what I want to see the most.
Because if they don't show Echo and Omega, I'm selling my collection. So anyway, but yeah, so we have some weekly pickups.
Yes. So the first one that you might have been able to see through the entire episode is the Coruscant Guard hot toy. That's one that my dad purchased for himself. He was very, very happy to get it. He was posing it right before we were starting the show. Yeah, it's awesome. The detail's amazing.
I love Sideshow so much.
Yeah, we need to mess around with it more, but we will be doing that.
So.
Other than that, Walmart finally got another wave in of the current wave that they're trying to get through with Tech and Costco. And all of our Walmarts got it, but people who bought them up only bought the one set. So
like one of each figure.
Yeah. So people were able to get it for the collection, so I'm not entirely mad because I know a bunch of the other collectors around here. So I was able to pick up Lando. I did not take him out of the box yet, which, not a big deal. I'm going to mess around with him this week. Yeah, and that was my reason for getting it. It's the best Lando we've had so far, and I might as well get it.
Out of the basements, that's the default appearance for Battlefront 2, 2017, yeah.
Which is nice. And then we have 3 more pickups for the actual collection itself for the room. We have the red and black box, Scarif Stormtrooper in the box. We bought this figure out of the box. We didn't have the box for it, so now we do. So that was really the justification for getting that. My dad picked up K2SO for the Rogue One set because we pre-ordered a whole nother lot. Well, the whole new line of all that because they're in different
it's got the photo reel.
Yeah, and the photo reels look nice. And then we ended up getting that retro Stormtrooper from Target, but you're not going to be able to see it well on camera, but the box got bent. My dad said that when it came, they literally shoved it in diagonally, and that's why it's like bent like that. Thank you, Target employees. If you hate your job and you hate packing boxes all day, quit. Because we don't appreciate it.
They consistently suck at doing that. They consistently suck.
It's consistently awful. It was awful like that for the Clone Wars figures, and it's literally only going to be bad if there's more vintage figures like this or anything else. I think it is ridiculous, and there's no excuse for it. If you're just going to shove stuff in a box because you feel like it, quit your job.
So, I saw your computer's in battery saver mode, so I don't want to lose the audio.
Oh, we're going to be fine for another couple minutes. But yeah, we can start to wrap it up. We got 19, we're good.
Okay, so I think that about wraps it up.
Yep, I agree.
So, a couple things before we end. I just want to give everyone a reminder of all the platforms that we're available on.
Yep.
So we are currently available on, obviously if you're watching this, you're watching it on YouTube. That's kind of like what we put a lot of our energy into, like the video aspect of this. So if you want to watch us instead of just listen to us, you can always watch us on YouTube.
Yep.
1313 Podcast YouTube channel. We're on our way to 250 subscribers. It's our next milestone. And we are well on the way. So
we're at 173 as of shooting.
Yep. So we got that. We are also available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Pocket
Casts, Breaker, Radio Republic. So we're available on a ton of different platforms for audio only.
Yep.
Feel free to tune in. It makes us a lot more accessible. Join the Discord.
Yes.
It's going to be in our link tree. You can find our link tree on any of our social media. I have it linked in the description below of every podcast post. Also, if you want to contact us about like podcast inquiries, things like that, we also have our podcast's email in the description of every single post. So if you have any questions, things like that, you want to talk to us one-on-one, feel free to do so because we love to chat with you guys. We love to go back and forth with you. We have a chat coming up this Thursday.
Yes, we do. So stay tuned for that.
With a fellow podcast. So with the Chosen One podcast, you will see that Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so we're excited to talk with someone who's actually not from the States, from the UK. So that's going to be exciting for us to talk about Star Wars with someone that's not from the US.
Yes, that'll be exciting.
So yeah, so in that case, I think that about wraps it up. This has been
the 1313 Podcast.
The most cringe mediocre podcast.
We're getting better. It's only improvements from here. Upgrades, people, upgrades.
Upgrades, people! So yeah, so we hope you all have a good week, and we'll see you on Thursday.
All right. Bye!
Peace out, Girl Scout!